Okay, so let me ask you something. Have you ever looked in the mirror and for just a split second felt like a stranger was looking back? It's a weird, jarring feeling, right? Well, it hints at this really deep truth we're going to get into today, our identity. We love to think of it as this solid fortress, something stable. But what if it's actually more like smoke? Today, we're diving into the art of becoming and figuring out how we can learn to shape the ever-changing story of who we are. This quote just nails that feeling, doesn't it? That little jolt of, wait, who is that? It might happen in the mirror, or maybe when a friend mentions something about you that you thought was long gone. It's this powerful little reminder that the self we think is so permanent, well, it's really more of a moving target than we like to admit. And this right here, this is the central paradox of identity we're all living in. On one hand, yeah, it's a fortress. It gives us a sense of safety, of continuity, of knowing who we are. But on the other hand, it's like smoke. It's constantly shifting, slipping right through our fingers. We spend our lives trying to navigate this tension between our deep need for stability and the undeniable reality of constant change. So, how in the world do we make sense of this? Let's start with a really powerful idea. What if we stop thinking of the self as a thing and start thinking of it as a story? You know, this is such a freeing thought. Your identity isn't some label that got stamped on you at birth. No, it's a living, breathing story. And guess what? You're the one holding the pen. Every memory, every choice you make, every relationship you're in, those are the threads you're using to stitch together the narrative of your life. You are the author, and you always have the power to write the next chapter. But stories have plot twists, they have interruptions. So, what happens when our own personal narrative gets suddenly, totally, unexpectedly derailed? And we've all been there, haven't we? A new job, a painful breakup, a big move, a major loss. All of a sudden, the story we've been telling ourselves about our life just stops. And we're left floating in that blank space, that gap between the sentences. And yeah, it can be absolutely terrifying, but it's also where the magic happens. That space is a space of incredible possibility. And this feeling, it's a specific kind of loneliness. It's not the loneliness of just being in an empty room. No, this is the deep loneliness of being unseen. It's that ache you feel when you know the people you love are still reading from an old script of who you were, and they just can't see the new character you're becoming. It's this profound longing to just be named, to be known for who you are right now. But here's the turn. Here's the beautiful pivot. That same breach, that same empty, lonely space, it's also where invention is born. When the old story dissolves, you get to pick up all the raw materials, look at all the pieces, and decide which ones you want to use to build the next chapter. It's the terrifying, beautiful freedom to decide who to be all over again. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually do it? How do we take this beautiful idea and turn it into a practical toolkit? How do we actively and intentionally rebuild our story when it feels like it's broken? Well, psychologists have this wonderful metaphor for it. They call it scaffolding identity. It's about building a support system for yourself while you're under construction, so to speak. The first pillar is narrative integration. That's all about weaving your past, present, and future into a story that makes sense. The second is plural selves, which we're going to dig into in a sec. The third is community as practice, which means finding your people, the ones who support your growth. And the fourth is intentional rituals, creating little ceremonies to mark your transitions from one chapter to the next. I absolutely love this idea of our plural selves. You are not just one thing. You're a whole chorus of different roles and desires and sometimes contradictory parts. And you know what? That is perfectly okay. Psychological health isn't about trying to force all those parts into one neat little box. It's about learning to be a graceful host, giving each part of yourself a voice and a seat at the table. But what about everyone else in our lives? Our reinvention doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It creates ripples that affect everyone around us. And that brings us to a really crucial question. What are the ethics of changing who we are? Okay, this is so important. This is non-negotiable. Reinvention is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. You don't just get to walk away from the person you were and pretend the impact you had didn't happen. Real, courageous reinvention demands that you look back with unflinching honesty, take responsibility for any harm you might have caused, and do the hard work of making things right. This quote says it all, really. You can't just stand up and announce, "Hey everyone, I've changed," and expect people to just get on board. Trust is earned, not declared. It's built on a new pattern of behavior, one that you show consistently over time. People need to see the change, not just hear you talk about it. So what does this labor of repair actually look like? Well, it's messy and it's definitely hard. It's about being able to say, "I'm sorry," and truly mean it. It's about showing up differently day after day. It's having the humility to let other people heal at their own pace, not yours. It's a true labor of love, and frankly, it's what makes your reinvention real and meaningful. So let's bring this all together now. The ultimate goal here isn't to finally arrive at some finished identity. The goal is to master the art of the process itself. So how do we do it? How do we navigate this delicate dance between our personal freedom to change and our responsibility to others? I love this concept of tempered authorship. It's about seeing your life as a story that you are co-writing with the people you love. It's having the boldness to edit and revise your own character, but also the gentleness and grace to honor the other authors in your life. It's this beautiful, beautiful balance of freedom and care. As we wrap this up, I want to leave you with 3 questions. These have been really helpful for me as I try to navigate my own journey of becoming. Think of them as a kind of compass, something to guide you as you continue to write your own story. Take a moment with these. They aren't easy questions, I know, but they are the essential tools of a tempered author. Answering them honestly and with compassion for yourself is how we move through change with integrity and with grace. Because in the end, our identity, it might be fragile, but it is also endlessly reparable. The goal isn't to finally fix ourselves. It's to become skillful, maybe even joyful, at the beautiful art of becoming.